takes. Do whatever it takes. My family say. Do it for the family. Don't care what they say. Don't care what they say. There's a brighter way. There's a brighter way. And a brighter day. A brighter day. Don't make a mistake. Don't make a mistake. And fade away. Don't fade away. Be more than great. Be more than great. I'm more than fate. I'm more than fate. Be on your way. Be on your way.
Yes, I am.
There's no other way to the future.
All right. We are back. And I'm in the headdress again. You know, I want to wear this headdress, you know, as a sign of who we are as American indigenous people. Real American indigenous people. The white man referred to as Indians, but I broke that down. Yeah, we are the American Indians, the American indigenous people. And as American indigenous people, not black, not African American, not Negro, all the names they done gave our people, we must start, you know, standing up for who we truly are. This is a way to make a reconnection with our ancestors, because y'all always talking about the ancestors so much, the ancestors, but then y'all connecting and y'all talking about Africa, a place, a continent far away on the other side of the world, and you talking about reconnecting, forming a connection with a connection that don't even really exist. Our connection is American Indian or American indigenous culture connection. That's what we failed to connect with. And I say this is, you know, why we are disregarded as the indigenous Americans here in this country. But I'm going to go into that before I start. In the name of Amen the Supreme, the all-powerful, the one and only true Lord. In Amen we trust. In Amen we thank. And in Amen we continue forward forever. I'll answer a few questions. I'm going to touch on 10 topics tonight because, you know, it just came to me to do that. And speak on pop culture and a few other things. Okay. Just look at my list. Because I put things down on the list and I don't like to usually go off the top of my head because I don't want to miss something, the topic I'm talking about. See, unlike on my radio broadcast, I usually stick to one topic and I just go in but I want to touch on multiple topics on this platform. Topics that I feel are definitely needed to be spoken about. Topics that need to be addressed. And we as a people who are still millions and millions upon millions strong, yet we don't have any real identity. We walking around calling ourselves black people. We walking around here calling ourselves African American. People making up phony classifications and names and titles for us that are not real, that connect us to nothing. I had a little bit of a little bit of a disagreement in one of these chat groups on Facebook where I shared a post. By the way, I have something coming up in New York on October 22nd. The American Indian or the American Indigenous Indian Conference. I'm going to be doing this in Brooklyn at Restoration Plaza, October 22nd. Those of you who are interested, I'm going to give you a number at the end of this attending. Those who are interested, you must call. I'm going to give the contact number for you to call so you can call in advance for your seating. The American Indigenous Indian Conference here in Brooklyn, New York at Restoration Plaza on October 22nd. Republic of America's American Indigenous Indian Conference. And this is going to be basically me explaining the need for us to come together as American indigenous people, as an American indigenous community, and stop with this whole black community nonsense, stop with this whole African American nonsense, because all it does is give people all kinds of leeway to make us what they want to make us. I was speaking about this last night on my radio broadcast, and I said, you know, the reason why. Let me address the first thing I want to address first, and I'll get right back to that. Hold on. But I'll say this while it's in my mind. I said the reason why, you know, we are referred to as black people in this country is because it gave the racists who called us black, the racist Caucasians who called us black people, to be the opposite end of them as white people. You know, in other words, they the good people. They the white clean, because white really translates to them as being clean or spotless or without, you know, ill intent, or, you know, basically upstanding, clean people, white. Whereas they refer to us as the opposite of black, dirty, dingy, foul people, you know, crooked people. That's what, you know, we would basically, you know, call black people to be the opposite end of Caucasian people who were coming here from Europe into this country, right? They came in here as we were the indigenous people here, and they were the immigrants here. They came into this country and they started, you know, basically setting up their colonies and things like that. And in doing that, you know, of course, there was, you know, war and strife between the indigenous people and the immigrant people, the indigenous bronze copper colored people, meaning us so-called black people, and your Caucasian Europeans who were coming over here as immigrants. They like to tell the story in reverse. They want to make it seem like they brought us over here into America. Nobody brought us here into America. We were already here in America, and we saw them come over here into America. Said that before. And with all the receipts and the proof that are out today, you still got Negroes out here arguing against that. And that's the biggest, surprise to me of the people who argue against the reality of who we are as the American Indians, the American indigenous people, and the American Indians. The people who argue against it the most is you so-called black people. You so-called black people, aka you Pan-Africanists, you pro-blacks, you argue against us referring to ourselves as American indigenous people, American Indian, not to be confused with the Native Americans, the $5 Indians, which they came through the Dawes Act. A lot of these white people set up here and start declaring themselves American or Native Americans through the Dawes Act, the $5 Indian Act, where they was getting property and land they could declare themselves. And a lot of these Caucasian people today who call themselves Native Americans are the descendants of those $5 Indian people, those Europeans who came over here and start trying to, basically become the American Indian. In other words, become us. While they was forcing us on census, while we were being forced on census to be declared as Negroes, to be declared as Negroes and coloreds and a bunch of other nonsense they called us, they were taken away. This was a term that was given to us to take away who we was, American indigenous people. You see, in other words, your racist Caucasians who were setting up this society, they decided to erase us out of American history. They decided to erase the American Indians or the American indigenous people, the copper-colored people. Go back and look at the American. I told you, go back and look at the definition of America, or American, excuse me. Go back and look at the definition. That tells you right there, the 1828 Merriam-Webster definition of American. That tells you everything. 1828 Merriam-Webster definition of American. That'll tell you everything. And I told you that's what debunks the so-called African slave trade story, because they said it was 77 million. Well, again, they claimed it was 70 when they came here. So according to the white man, there's about 77 million American Indians here, indigenous. He claimed he wiped them all out. How you gonna wipe out 77 million people? Do you know what that? You know what even a million people is over years? 77 million, huh? With the type of ammunition they had back then, or whatever, man. You wiped out a whole bunch of people through a pen, through a paper genocide. There was a whole lot of Walter Pleckers around the world who was going around government sponsored to basically wipe out the American Indians, and make them into black people here in America. Make them basically a redacted people, which I'm going to get into in a second. Because I want to get into the topic at hand. All right. Why is so-called black culture, right? The way we dance, our music, hip hop, all this stuff, why is that the predominant popular culture, not just here in America, but around the world? Why is the style, the dress, the music, the sayings, speech. Why is that the popular thing in the world today? Why is that popular? Why is so-called, black culture and what black people do? Why is that popular? Because I mean, it's without question, our music, our style, our influence is heavy in popular culture. Why is that? And it has been so for over I want to say well over since the music era started with blues and jazz and all that. In the early 1900s, that's when a lot of our images and a lot of our music started coming to the forefront and becoming popular music. Jazz, blues, R&B, soul music, things like that. And it also influenced country, rock, which was originally our music, rock music. This is all American Indian music or American indigenous music. This is really what the white man means when he says, oh, it's not black music. He goes, it's American music, which was one of my topics. Why do they, whenever you notice this, whenever they refer to our music, they don't want to refer to it as black music. They want to refer to it as American music, which they're right. It is American music, but in y'all minds, you thinking they mean it's music for everybody who calls themselves American. But in reality, what they're really saying is because we are the American indigenous people, the real Americans, us, the copper-colored Americans, that is American music. Hip hop is American music because we're American. We're the only real Americans. Okay? Hip hop is American music. Jazz, R&B, blues, yeah, it is American indigenous music. It is American Indian music. It's not black music because there are no black people here. There's those copper-colored races who were here in America and watched the Europeans, the Caucasians come in here, raggedy and wretched, you see. And even in their things, give me your poor, give me your hungry, give me your, your destitute, whatever they say to bring these people into America. Remember that saying they said, give me your poor, give me your hungry and all this? In other words, that was how many of y'all remember that saying in advertising America? How many of y'all, give me your poor, give me your hungry? What is that? What is that saying? Let me see in my chat group. Do y'all remember that saying? Give me your poor, give me your hungry and all this other stuff? Because really that was an advertisement. Everybody got that in the chat group, DOM? Give me your poor, give me your hungry and all this other stuff. What was that saying? They talking about America. Because that was really a push by the Caucasian government here to get white people, who was coming from Europe and other places, but especially Europe, to come into America so that they can, let me see if somebody put it in there. Okay. Let me see if somebody put it. Give me your poor, give me your hungry. I just want to see if somebody put it up in there. But anyway, my point is that was said, right? All right. Yeah, that's the clarion call. Somebody get that to me. But it was basically saying, all you poor Europeans come over here and be, part of this immigrant force that we need to take over this land. And not just America, the country, but the continent of America. Because, you see, it was a continental takeover after a while because you got, people who are not the indigenous people in these, not just in North America, but in these South American countries too. You got people who are not the indigenous people there, but the indigenous people are still there. They just don't show you. There's a so-called black subculture in Mexico. There's a black subculture in South America. There's a black subculture in Peru and all them other places where you would think it's these straight-haired Spanish people who are your white declaring white Spaniards, who control the economy over there, who control the face of the country over there. You would never think, because you used to seeing a Mexican, you would never think they're so-called black Mexicans or black Peruvians or black. I'm just using the term black so y'all know what, for now. Or copper-colored people. These are the original people there. These are the original people. They're basically trying to breed a lot of them out of there. But a lot of the original Mexicans are still there. The dark-skinned, bronze people with woolly hair are still there. The Peruvians, the South Americans, hell, forget about Colombia. Colombia, the people in Colombia look like people here in America, like bronze cop. They don't look like Africans. They look like the American indigenous people over there. They just speak Spanish. See, you would never know this because they don't show you those people. because those are the original people of those lands. Just like here, the so-called black people, so-called copper-colored people, the same thing that was done to them here in America, in the country of America, was the same thing done to them in those lands as well, where they were displaced, taken out of power, taken out of influence. The Caucasian government came in and took over their resources and whatnot. And, this is what you got right now. You see, so we were displaced all over our continent of America. America is a bronze, copper-colored, is a bronze continent. America, the continent, is a bronze continent, South and North America. Okay? Those are bronze continents for the American indigenous people, us. Us, going back to us as the Mesoamericans, as the Olmecs, the Aztec, the Inca, the Mayan, and all the Toltecs and all these other people that came here into North America, first people that flooded into North America and set up all these indigenous tribes that you see, or that became the American indigenous tribes. Because you notice they don't talk about, they'll talk like, I'm going to go into this next topic. They talk about I'm noticing a whole lot of hostility when I put on the feathered head crown, or I'm talking about doing an indigenous American class and things like that. I'm starting to get a whole lot of heat for that. And a lot of other people who are coming up here as content creators who bringing out the fact, people like your Dane Callaways, I'm sure, your, even your Carino, you know what I'm saying? He's Latino. But all these people are, people are getting, who the guy Solani, it's a lot of people who are these content creators who are bringing out the fact that we the real American Indians, and they bringing out records, they bringing out receipts, they bringing out real, proof, real, factual, tangible proof. Not we believe that we the American Indians, or this is a theory of ours. No, actual proof. The belief that we African Americans, now that's more of a belief than material factual, that we are African. Because if you ask all these people who you say, we African American, they're like, of course we African, of course we black. Okay, what proof you got that we are? Since you asked me, what proof do I have that we American Indians or American indigenous people, which we got plenty of proof, what proof do you got that we African other than what the white man said? That's the question I want to ask you, so-called pro-black, pan-Africanist, educated Negroes. What proof do you got other than just the white man saying y'all African? He didn't provide no damn proof. He didn't show see, this is how y'all related by blood or tribe, by y'all blood. He didn't do that. He just said y'all African. He just said you black, and that was good enough for y'all, right? No receipts, no proof. Even that so-called transatlantic slave trade, like I said, where they brought some Africans here, but very small number. And that stopped in 1811. They didn't even try to really bring them here like that. They dropped them off in the West Indies because the Africans was dying on their way over here and they was fighting on the ships. And they had very small boats by that time. Keep in mind, it wasn't no ships till 1850, pointed out by Mr. Dane Calloway. Thank you, Mr. Dane Calloway. Right? So, if they had these small boats where they bring these Africans over there, if they even did, that was, nah, man. Nah. That don't even add up to the numbers you claiming the people that are here. No. That was a whitewashed form of history to get the people to disassociate themselves, get our people to disassociate ourselves with our American Indian heritage. Our American Indian, because see, the face you have with the so-called American Indian is this Asian, mongoloid looking face. That's the face you got in your mind. But keep in mind, these people came from another place and they started vulturing off of our culture. They picked up our American indigenous culture and they started putting on the feathered headdresses and coming into, and coming amongst us and copying us and mixing in with us. Like how the Latinos do. Like how the Latinos do with the straight hair. The Latinos, they'll sit up here and they was making fun of our music, hip hop, and how we was dancing, because all that stuff come from us. Shout out to Mr. Tariq Nasheed, who about to bring out an excellent documentary. I'm shouting out Tariq Nasheed, even though I don't agree with everything he say, but I do agree definitely with what he's saying about he got a documentary coming out. I'm telling y'all, go check that. I'm gonna definitely go and check it and support it, because it helps to put a stop to these lies. They trying to now take the so-called hip hop culture, which comes out of rap music. They trying to take that and trying to basically steal it from us, appropriate, as they say, steal. That's another way of saying steal, to appropriate our is that the word? Appropriate? I might be wrong. Yeah. But to take what's ours, to take our music and say, oh, Latinos. I'm not offended by the whole saying that Jamaicans had something to do with it, because at least Jamaicans are bronze, copper color, but they didn't have nothing to do with it neither. It was all American, indigenous, North American Indians here. Hip hop is North American indigenous music. I don't use black. That's why I disagree with Tariq Nasheed. We're not black people. Our skin is not black. That's a governmental, just a classification, basically to redact us as a people. Because, and I'm going to get into that when I say, because I said I was going to do a cast about the redacted people, but I might well just go ahead and address it here, because that's not worth me doing a 2-hour cast. It could be one of the things I talk about here. We are considered a redacted people here in America. Do you know what I mean by that? Y'all heard that word before, redacted? That's like the word they use for classified information, where the government blacks out information, basically puts lines through stuff they don't want you to know about. They'll have records and stuff, which is crazy to me. I'm like, why y'all just don't destroy this shit? Why would you gonna put lines through it? Why don't you burn the shit and throw it in the garbage? If you're gonna put lines through it, why keep the paper around? They probably got something they could throw on it where they could read through the black. That's what I'm thinking. They probably could go and read through it later. They could put some stuff on it and they could really see it in case they need to know. Because that don't make sense to me why you wouldn't just throw it away. Why you just gonna put black lines through it? But anyway, they refer to that as something being redacted or omitted, right? It's, in other words, stuff they don't want you to know. They black it out. They did the same thing with our people. This is a history and a people that we don't want you to know about. So you know what we're going to do? Instead of killing all these people, which we can't kill them all, it'll be too much and they'll start fighting. If you put people in a position where they got to fight for their life, you're going to be surprised what you get. You ain't going to want to know what you're going to get. If you put people in the position, you tell them you're going to take their life. And if you try to kill all these people, you know what they're going to do to you? Or what they're going to do, you ain't going to make it. Or they're going to put such a hell of a dent in you, you're going to feel it for years. You try to take out people, I'm talking about years and years. That's a rippling effect. So they said instead of doing all that, they didn't have the weapons to take us out. So they tried to move us to Africa. They tried to move us out to Africa, which they did. That's how they set up Liberia, trying to get the indigenous American people, the real American Indians, up out of here. Then they lied about it and said that they got us from Africa and brought us over here. That's the whole thing where they put it in reverse so that they could whitewash history. Because, at the end of history, the white man, they said he's the victor. Yes, he was the victor. We fought against him trying to, even though he had help from niggers, indigenous niggers, I'm going to say it, who helped them fight against our people, because he always used us against us. That's where you get the formation of these boule coons, these boule sambos today. These blockhead boule coons today that love the beast, that go against their own kind. Some of them are politicians now, These are your descendants of your bootlicking boule coon sambos who basically want to check, who basically want to schmooze with these Caucasoids and bend over and grab their knees and do whatever they got to do, buck dance, do backflips, whatever the hell you niggas do, right? Got no regard for y'all at all. You're sellouts. So these kind of people, that was in the American indigenous tribes. So, they use those kind of people, those Eve-seated people, as I call them, against our people, against the indigenous people. So, it was going back and forth, wars on, but they became the victor over time because, they had some coons helping them, a lot of them. And that's how they got into the position of power. The Europeans got into the position of power here in America. And they wanted to wipe us out as Americans and replace us with themselves. And virtually that's what they did. Because when you hear the term American today, you automatically think of white people. How did that happen? You don't even think of the Mongoloid Indians no more. You don't even think of them when you say the word American, because they ain't even really none of them. They was never a majority. The majority was those 77 million American indigenous people, those copper-colored tribes that's still here today being called African American and Negro and black. Because they claim that, the Native Americans, but why they don't talk about the American Indian tribes that they do recognize as American Indian? They don't say they're African. They talk about these Cherokee and all these other, the so-called 5 civilized Native American tribes. That means that's the tribes the government is willing to acknowledged. You know, the ones with the straight hair like the white man and the mongoloid features. The ones, anybody who just ain't the woolly haired, dark skinned people, the copper color. Because we don't really want to get that in the mind that they the real Indians. But see, when you got the Yamasee still out here, you got the Yamasee, you got the Shinnecock. It's a lot of other tribes on the Pamunkey. Some of these people still kept their tribal affiliation. These are all bronze, so-called copper-colored tribes, so-called black tribes that the government tries not to acknowledge and act like they don't exist. But then they'll sit here and still call us African Americans, knowing damn well we didn't come from no Africa. Knowing damn well we are the descendants of the Mesoamericans, the Olmecs, the Aztec, the Inca. We have a long line of indigenous heritage as the first and only real Americans here in America. And it's time we start standing up as an American community, as an indigenous American community. That's what we need to do. And not even for government's sake. It's not even about the government or trying to get something out of the government. It's more about trying to get something out of us. What do I mean by that? Because, you know, the so-called, the black people, it's always like, if they declare some kind of status for themselves, it's always like, oh, what can we get out of it? What y'all looking to get out of it from the government? I'm not looking to get nothing from the government at all. I'm not looking to get nothing from a government who has hidden my identity as American Indian. What the hell make you think they're going to give you reparations? I mean, do we deserve reparations? Yeah, of course we do. Of course. For having our lands taken, for having our homeland and things taken from us, acres and millions of acres of land taken from us and given to Caucasian immigrants. Yeah, you damn right we deserve that. But are we going to get it? Maybe, maybe not. Should we wait around for that? For anything to happen before we start doing something for ourselves? Hell no. Hell no. This is why things are happening to so-called black people. You notice, because we have not declared ourselves a people under one title, under one name, under one nationality. We could sit up here with this black nonsense. You know, this is how things like hip hop and all of our things that we create culturally are able to be taken, able to be vultured off of, because what does it mean to take something from a black person? What does it mean to take something from a black person? What is a black person? Nothing. A black person is a shadow, a nothing. Nothing. So of course you want to take something from nothing. If you see nothing ain't know what to do with the something they got. I'm gonna take something from you. Because see, the white man and all the rest of these other people, they can declare themselves a people. They can declare themselves a people. You see, they actually, I'm gonna say this, they actually switch places with us. They calling us African Americans and they calling themselves Americans, but it's actually in reverse, because technically Europe and Asia is Africa. I'm gonna prove that to you. Europe and Asia is Africa, because Africa, Europe, and Asia is all connected by one landmass. It's no separation in the continent. In other words, you can go from Africa all the way to Europe. You already know, really, there's no Europe. Europe is Asia. That's what they was calling it, Eurasia, for a while, which makes all the sense in the world, because the white man is called a Caucasian. He's Asian as well, but he's from the Caucasus Mountain, thus the term Caucasian, right? So technically, all of Europe and Asia is Africa. Okay, that's why you found all the early so-called black dynasties in China and all the other places in Europe. You see all these black dynasties. Basically, these people came from Africa, and some people came from parts of America and went in, set up things, and worked together. But my point is that that's all technically Africa. And even the so-called white man has admitted that, oh, you know, they have African ancestry. What's the guy, Elon Musk? Didn't he call himself an African American? The Caucasian Elon Musk? Why do you think he did that? He tell you he was from South Africa. Yeah, that's true. And he said he's an American now, so he's able to call himself an African American. So now y'all don't even got that no more. Y'all don't even got that no more. But he's really calling himself an African American because Europe is Africa. Asia is Africa. Beyond technically, you only land masses are separated by water. Land masses are separated by water. America is its own separate continent because we all the way on the other side of the world from Africa, Europe, and Asia. We all the way on the other side of the world. So that's already, those are technically different continents. Okay? From those other, because it's really only technically 3 continents. There's not 7, let me see. Africa, Asia, Europe. Yeah. How many? It's about, you count Africa, Europe, and Asia as one continent. And then there's America and North America and South America, right? Then there's Antarctica, right? And then what's the last one? What's the last one? Is it Australia? What's the last continent? Anybody know what's the last continent? They said 7 continents or 6. But in any case, my point being is that these continents are separated by water. As far, well, I'm saying Africa, Asia, and Europe are all one landmass. There's no separation in water. You can literally go from Africa all the way into Europe, into Asia, and then into Europe on land. So that means it's all connected. They have not been broken apart. So a lot of times these Europeans will just go over into Africa, because they have that African connection anyway. All that's Africa anyway. The Europeans and all you other, y'all just pale Africans. The Europeans are just pale Africans. The Asians are just, whatever complexion they are, these, yellow, white, African, pale, whatever. Because you can see black versions of these people before they even got on the scene. You got black people in parts of Asia, or you have black people in parts of Asia who have the Asian phenotype and genotype, and you can and they predate the so-called Asians. So the Asians come out of that genetic phenotype. Okay, so on this side here in the Americas, on this side there was an indigenous people here, and that indigenous people is still here. That's us. We had nothing to do with the Africans on that side or the Asians or the Caucasians on that side. We had nothing to do with them. They made their way over into it. So what the white man do, hey, he's really an African American, and we're really just Americans. Because when they put the American on the end of their nationality, that means that they migrated to this place. Like how they try to make us think we was migrating from Africa into America. Deception. Ultimate deception. Right? Right. Yeah, y'all see I'm looking at it right now. You see it? You see Africa. You go that land, it connects. Right, I'm looking at the map right now, and then it goes right in there. You see it right on. There's that connection right there. And then on the other side is America. Then there's Antarctica. Okay, and Australia. Okay, so there's Australia, Africa, America, and Antarctica. Okay, so that's really just 4 continents. All right, they call Europe Eurasia. So it's really Australia, Antarctica, North and South America. All right. So yeah, just really 4 continents. 4 continents. Antarctica, Australia, Africa, and America. All start with the letter A. Coincidence? So we on that other side from everybody, separate from everybody. Yet people have poured over here into the Americas and have tried to become us. They have tried to become us. People have been allowed to come over here into America and impersonate the American Indians and call themselves Native Americans. They try to impersonate us. Okay? And it's time for us to become us again, going forward. Not only put on this feathered headdress as a reminder of who we are as a celestial people and indigenous people, because these feathered head crowns represented something celestial, as in heavenly. Feathers, first thing you think about when you think about feathers, you think about birds, flight. There are many rituals in which the American Indians was doing, where they had wings, they had the feathered wings, they'd be doing dances and the wings, they wearing the feathered head crown and whatnot. That came from us, man. Again, they were trying to emulate birds. You can find that in ancient Egypt, where they was wearing the feathers in ancient Egypt, because I told you those feathered head crowns and all of that made its way over, and that indigenous culture made its way over even into Egypt, because you got over 2,000 pyramids here in America. Like I said in the last cast, over 2,000 pyramids here in America, but only 200 and about, how many? 255 over there in the, in the Middle East, Egypt and all those other places. How that happen? And that was all built by our people, because you never see any other races of people. They try to get other races of people to claim that these are the people who built the pyramids, but you already know who built the pyramids. It's the people who at one time ruled the world, and that was our people. Our people, the American indigenous people who spread out all over the world. Don't let them make you think America, the continent, the culture. Let them make you think it's pretty new, and that all these cultures from other parts of the world, like over in Africa and the Middle East, those are old cultures, and America's failing. No, it's not. That's a lie. That's another lie. Some of the oldest cultures are here. Two to three of the oldest cultures are here in the Americas. Right here in the Americas. Going right back to the Olmecs. Okay? And I asked this question: why are certain people? Well, I keep getting away from the question. Why is popular culture, or did I say why is popular culture or our culture here in America? Because I asked this question before, because the so-called Native Americans claim they're the first people here in the Americas. So I'm like, okay, if y'all the first people here in the Americas, then why is your culture not popular in America? You don't know anything about the so-called Native American culture. How is it that this culture, that Native American, so-called Native American culture, is supposed to be the foundation of America? Everybody's supposed to know something about Native American culture, whatever the case may be, right? Because then their lie is, oh, well, the white man wiped out everything, and he didn't let us practice our American Indian. That's the lie of the Native American culture, and he wiped out everything. No, they didn't. Y'all was never enslaved. According to y'all, the Native Americans were never enslaved. In fact, they owned our people. A lot of these red Native American tribes owned our people. So they allowed you to practice your culture, your so-called culture. You were allowed to do that. Just like you allowed to do it today, where y'all sit up here and have y'all little gatherings and act like y'all the real Indians, just so that y'all can get money for your reservations, just so you can get funding to keep playing this game and acting like y'all the real American Indians, when y'all not. Y'all being classified as Native Americans for a reason. Because the Caucasians were the first ones to classify themselves as Native Americans, and y'all all linked up in that same scam. Okay? That's why you had, and again, nobody ever gets on these Caucasians. Notice how easy it is for these Caucasians to just declare themselves American Indians or Native Americans. Nobody ever says anything about that. Notice nobody ever checked nobody's tribal records. White man, how many Caucasians came over from Europe and just start calling themselves American Indians or Native Americans? You know how many of them people didn't dig that? Hell, Hollywood put those people out for years. They allowed people to become $5 Indians here. So they was basically allowing white people to come from Europe and call it and just become us, start impersonating us and telling us that we ain't really who we are no more. No, y'all Negroes, we're going to create this false classification, this false culture, this false heritage. And here you niggas just go ahead and take it. Because we're going to just become you and take your shit. That's really what that translates into. And you know what the sad thing is? Y'all go for this. You go for this. But see, it takes real men and real women, but real men to tell the truth. Something y'all niggas are not willing to do. You Pan-Africanists are not willing to do. You pro-blacks are not willing to do. You racist whites, you damn sure ain't willing to do it. So it takes a bronze, copper-colored man, a real American indigenous man, to do it. That's why I'm doing it, to wake up my American indigenous people. I'm not trying to wake up black people, because that's useless. The niggas that sit up here and argue with me in that group about us doing an American indigenous Indian class, I'm like, okay, you questioning me and you clowning us about the feathered head crown and y'all acting like it's a problem. It was even up there with some old Spanish wannabe Indian calling himself something Luis Red some shit. You know what I'm saying? You got a Spanish white name, but you're supposed to be American indigenous. Okay. But anyway, you're sitting up here trying to clown us, but you never say nothing when a white woman or a white man put one of these on and start calling themselves American Indian or Native American. The so-called white man now, who supposedly ran y'all out of America, killed you off, but then they can come live on the reservation with you, right? And put these on their head and call themselves Native American, right? The so-called white man. Right. Y'all sambos, man. Y'all a bunch of sambos, man. For believing in that. You sit up here have a problem with me wearing it. But you go on eBay, you see white people wearing these. That should be sacrilege for a Caucasian to wear one of these. That should be sacrilege. Because these are the people that supposedly that y'all say killed off all y'all tribes and gave y'all all these diseases and so then why y'all letting them live on the reservation? Why they living on the Reds? Why they living on the Reds? Why they sitting up here acting like they were like y'all? They the chiefs of y'all tribes. Cause y'all all full of shit, man. So what? I said it. Y'all all full of shit, man. Black culture, you know why so-called black culture dominates popular culture? Because it's American Indian culture. Because we are the descendants of the American Indians. And of course, American indigenous culture is going to dominate American culture, popular culture. Of course. The black culture they talking about is American Indian culture. Hip hop, R&B, jazz, blues, that's all American Indian music. You look how the white man used to, look at how the so-called white man, these white companies who had so-called products with Indians on them. Look who in the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s, nigga tobacco. They got a so-called black man with an Indian feathered headdress on his head. They had all kinds of advertisement. I want people to bring up those advertisements. Dane Calloway had a bunch of them up where they advertising in this country black people as Indians in the beginning of the century on their products. Nigga head tobacco, all kind of degraded, calling us niggas, but showing us with the feathered headdresses on. And you do know it's in government documents that the word Indian was synonymous with Negro. They were showing you the go from Indian was synonymous. Indian and Negro was synonymous. It's the same word. So if we not the American Indians, how was Indian and Negro the same word? It was synonymous with each other. Make that make sense. We know we're not talking about the copper-colored people. You know you're not talking about the red Mongoloid Indians. You're not talking about them. They don't have copper-colored skin. Their skin is not copper enough. They don't have copper skin. And copper back then was darker. It was a darker brown. Look at how copper looked back in 1800s. Look at how copper looked. It was much darker than today. You see these light pennies you have, which is copper. That's the light form of copper. The copper back then was a darker bronze skin, colored complexion like us. So now you got a redacted people that's running around here calling themselves black people. You're basically saying that you are a race of redacted people, a people who have no culture, who have no heritage, who have no nationality. That's what you're saying in your country. In your country, because calling you African American is nothing. You know how you know it's nothing? Because the so-called white man here in America, he ain't willing to call himself European American. Now is he? He ain't calling himself European American. Hell, he ain't even calling himself Italian or French. He know that, but they just not him just going, we American now. So, okay, let me get this straight. So you get to say you American now. A lot of you Caucasians are starting to just come out and say, I'm American. You ain't even saying you Italian American no more, German or French no more, or Irish. You just American now. So you get to be American right now, and you get to claim America's a white country. Yet, the people that actually built it up off of their slave labor, who doing way more than picking cotton, they're not the builders of America. The people that actually did the work to get America, build the economy here, build up the money, the system here, because all that economy was built off of slavery. From the insurance companies insuring the slave, a whole industry was built off of slavery. There would be no American economy. There would be no United States of America if there were no slavery. It would not exist. There would be no United States of America. if it wasn't for slavery. There would be none. Because when Caucasians had the chance to, before they had any slavery, before they got black people to help them, because that's all slavery was. You got black people to help you, the indigenous black people, bronze, copper colored people to help you to survive here, to grow crops here, to live here, to build up something, to start trading here. We helped you. And this is the thanks we got. Got called niggas. Got our land taken from us. Got our people killed for telling the truth, for just living. Just living. And that still happens today. That's really why you are hated in this country. Because of who you are as the American indigenous people. The government know that. The Negroes are the indigenous people. They are the people of America. They are the only real Americans. Hello? The white man ain't calling himself European American, but that's the reality. He's from Europe. So how he get to call himself American? I can't move to Italy. Remember I said I can't move to Italy and call myself Italian. I can't never be Italian by nationality. I could be an Italian citizen, but I could never be Italian by nationality. That's the same thing with these Caucasians, these Asians, these East Indians, because there is an American by nationality that's still here, and that is us. And we are being mislabeled as black people, as African Americans. Chop the African off and we're going to go with American. That's our nationality. We ain't got to get all deep about all this Egyptian stuff and all this other shit y'all trying to get into, man. Come on, man. We in America, man. And all you niggas that claim you pro-black and all that African shit, when you niggas going to go to Africa? And when you going to change your names over to African names? And when you going to come back and tell us what tribe you in and show us you over there in Africa with your African names, with your dashikis and shit on, or whatever they got you, because they don't even wear dashikis over there in Africa. So, man, that's all along. That's a scam, man. All that scam African shit, all these people pushing scam Africanism, man, all that shit coming to an end, man. All that's coming to an end. The truth is coming out. We're in the day of revelation, man. All right? So yeah, our music is American music because we the American people that made the music. We are American by nationality. The only people who are American by nationality. This is our culture from our Mesoamerican heritage. Hello, I don't give a damn who don't like it, who got a problem with it. All you fake Native Americans over there, these fake ass tribes out there who talking all this crap about, oh, we the real. Y'all ain't the real nothing, man. You a bunch of culture vultures. Just like the people that's called the Latinos who out here like Fat Joe out here talking about, oh, Latinos is 50-50 hip. Y'all ain't no 50-50 nothing. Because y'all ain't never had no, how, again, I brought that question up. How y'all 50-50 hip hop and y'all don't have Latinos on the level of all the hip hop stars that started, that came out. That means the first rappers should have been Latino, which they wasn't. On wax, the first people blow up from Rappers Delight and all them other people, these were all American black people. And to this day, American so-called black people dominate rap music. You got maybe 2 or 3 Latinos from Fat Joe to Big Pun. Y'all only had a couple of albums. And that's it, man. And any ones of any real notoriety. But then here go Fat Joe. They about to let him host the damn BET Awards on Hip Hop Awards. You see how they pushing him into pushing? They want Fat Joe to be the face of hip hop. That's spitting in the face of the American indigenous men and women, the bronze copper colored men and women, the American Indians, indigenous people who created hip hop, who created rap music, who created blues, R&B, jazz, like how they trying to make jazz. Say, oh, well, white people started doing. No, they did not. They started recording and copying from the black people that started it. You see how it's easy to take our culture and history because you're talking about black people. What are black people? Black people is nothing. That's like saying blank people. That's like the redacted line between across our people. Y'all that black line. You them black people. No, man, we gotta move the line back, man. We gotta erase the line and let it be known who we are, man. I can't, that's all coming from. And let me just say this. Black was purposely meant to be associated with negativity, man. And then y'all wonder why when you hear black people, you hear people saying black people, you wonder why people have a negative mindset, connotation toward black people. You wonder why. Because black is meant to be negative. the people that called you it in a negative tone and negative fashion. So my question is this: why are y'all still, or you pro-black, still holding on to blackness when you know that's where it came from? We didn't call ourselves black. Our ancestors didn't call us black. You claim y'all care about your ancestors, your grandmothers and all them. They didn't want to be called black. So why are y'all doing this today? Partly because some of y'all are doing it out of ignorance. Some of you are doing it because of an agenda. Like a lot of these pro-black and pan-Africanists want to be professors out here who's teaching us this BS for a long time. We from Africa and all this other nonsense. Like a lot of them guys who got their DRs and PhDs in African American studies at these colleges so they can teach that bullshit to the public and get a check. You see how the white man incentivized these coons to come out here and lie to our people. They incentivized these Sambos to come out here and lie, these so-called educated Negroes to come out here and lie to our people and not tell us the whole goddamn truth about who we really are as the American Indians. Yeah, the truth need to come out, man. Yeah. And like I said, the truth ain't for everybody. I realize that you got a lot of these pro-blacks out here, these pan-Africanists out here, who they just gonna be jolly Sambos and coons. They want to be black. They want to believe they from Africa. They want to keep running their ass over there into Africa and trying to live and put on dashikis and act like you part of that culture. And them people looking at you like you stupid. They trying to come over here and be you. Look at Akon. Akon want to come over here and replace you. Akon is definitely an African. He want to come over here and replace you. Copy your culture and whatnot. He telling you niggas to go to Africa. Yet he ain't trying to go back over there. He trying to be over here in America and be you. I don't know why. I hope y'all ain't buying no more music from this clown, man. Locked Up. And then he come out with a song called Locked Up. That's for you so-called black male. They basically telling you niggas need to be locked up in jail somewhere. The record companies couldn't wait to back that. Which is run by a bunch of closeted white homosexuals. And I'm going to say this. I asked the question. I said, I really do acknowledge that. When Tariq Nasheed brought out that film, Buck Breaking, I looked at the deeper meaning behind it when he brought out that film, Buck Breaking. He was basically saying in the movie, without saying it, that a lot of these Caucasian racist males out here who's even today, who's sitting up in Congress, sitting up in Senate, sitting up in places and seats of power, who have this hatred for so-called black people, the indigenous people of this land, who wish we would die or go away or just stop existing and whatnot, because they got to bug up their ass that the indigenous people are still here in America, the real Americans, and because they want to become us, they hate us, they want us to stop mass producing so that they can be all over America like the roaches and parasites they are. They bringing in more of these parasites, okay? These parasites who feeding off the American tax dollars, feeding off the economy, taking from people's neighborhoods. Yet y'all got no problem with that. You got a problem with black people in black neighborhoods, and you got no problem with all these so-called immigrants coming in. You got no problem with that. Eating off of our resources. Going in the neighborhoods and whatnot. Here in Chicago, you got these kids who had this center for them. They playing football there. Young black kids. They kicked them out of their center in Chicago, in their neighborhood, to house a bunch of illegals. But they won't do that in no white neighborhoods. You see? Because they basically using them to replace us. They trying to use them to replace us. And y'all busy up here talking about y'all African Americans. Y'all better get a goddamn grip, man. They're going to be your new white people. A lot of these, and that's what they auditioning for, to become the new white people in your neighborhoods. So expect to see violence. That little black girl, little bronze copper colored girl, beautiful little girl, got her face busted open by these two illegals. You see, unbelievable, man. By these two illegals. These two illegal females beat up a 12-year-old girl, bust her face open, call all kind of niggas and everything else. And then some Sambo here in America, he gonna sit up here and he gonna sit up here and go to and just threaten the girls and whatnot for saying something about it. That's your black and brown coalition right there. Your black and brown. We ain't got no friends, man. We ain't got no friends. Yeah, so I said, yeah, a lot of these guys, man, a lot of these racist Caucasians, I'm gonna say all of them. not the prejudiced ones, because there's a difference. You see, you got the prejudiced people who, you know, and even the ones, if you prefer your own race, if you prefer your own race over another race, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you preferring your race over another race. I prefer mine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you start trying to deprive people, or disrespect people, or take people, or hurt people because they're not the same as you, then you sick. You're mentally ill. And I said a lot of these people who are mentally ill like that, a lot of these guys, a lot of these guys are closeted sodomites. A lot of these racist Caucasians are closeted sodomites, closeted homosexuals, like Tariq Nasheed brought out in that movie Buck Breaking. A lot of these guys are closeted homosexuals who have this hatred for so-called black men because they really see black men as the epitome of manhood, and they don't like that. So they try to do what? They try to buck break who they consider to be the epitome of manhood. Like you see they doing with these athletes, got these guys wearing dresses, wearing perms in their hair like that basketball player. You know, how they got you R&B singing like they just had Usher in a damn skirt. You know, they got people that do stuff like that because, like I said, they don't like the masculine energy coming from our men. Because see, when the so-called black man is in his natural state as a masculine man, a real man, a heterosexual man, you got all the women that want the so-called black man. The American black man is the most sought after. The American so-called black, he can go anywhere simply off of simply a lot of it off of just the fact that we are the popular culture. You know, people even though the rap music is in the toilet, you see, and a lot of these movies and stuff how they show, but it's still our image, even in this negative state, is still and just our appearance alone, that we the most sought after men. We're the most sought after men. They don't want to say it, but we are. They want to try and tell this lie. They got to make up shows like what's that show where they had the Bachelor, they had the white guy on there, and all the white women, even the white women wanted him. That's all set up, man. Most of these females, when you see them, they want to be with some guy that got swag, and they got that little rap idea, that cool little. So it ain't hard for those so-called heterosexual black men who keep himself together, keep himself straight. He all together. He can get as many women he want. He can get white, Asian, African. He can get all the women he wants, man. The American indigenous man, the American indigenous man, the American man. When I say the American man, I mean the bronze man, the so-called black man. When I say the American man, the American woman, I mean the black man, the black woman. The so-called American man, the American indigenous man, you get any woman you want, man. Especially don't go to no other country, you get all the women you want to get. And you got a lot of these racists. I'm not talking about all white men. I'm not talking about all white males. I'm not because some of y'all just got about y'all business. Y'all don't care and you living your life. Salute to you. Again, I'm not racist against people just because they white. I don't like people who just do hater shit. I don't like hater shit. I don't like, and even you people who sodomites, you homosexuals, I don't really got nothing against y'all. Y'all gonna do what y'all do. I don't care. I don't agree with it, but it ain't for me to agree or disagree. That's y'all lifestyle. Fine. Do you? My thing is this. And when you got people who have who are closeted with that stuff and they got a whole lot of bent up hostility, they want to be something they not, those be the ones who become your racists, the ones who become the police officers. A lot of them become police officers and things like that, or get in positions of authority where they can try and hurt so-called black men in some way, shape, or form. You done seen too many of these police cases where a lot of these cops, I'm gonna just have to say it, these Caucasian cops, they doing all kind of homosexual, erotic, just degenerate things with black men, frisking them, putting their hands down their pants, feeling their nuts and their ass, and putting flashlights up their rectum, all kind of crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? All kind of plunges and all kind of that. One that got them guys and the race soldiers out there and Louisiana, what one of those places, Alabama or what was one of them places, Mississippi, who did that to them two black guys. Because y'all was dating white women. These guys, they beat these guys, shot one of the guys. One of them had a sex toy. They was trying to make the guys have sex with each other while they watched. You got to be a real sick degenerate You know, it's beyond you just being a sodomite, but you got to be a real sick degenerate to even do something like that. But these are the people who are sworn to uphold the law. Are you serious? I said this before. I said policing is supposed to be a sacred thing. Being a police officer, taking an oath to protect the public is supposed to be a sacred thing. You ain't supposed to bring your racism with you. You ain't supposed to bring your bad behavior with you. You ain't supposed to hire those kind of people because, see, that show you the policing in this country is just shit, man. Because they just hire anybody. It's a bunch of race soldiers, a bunch of damn state-sponsored gangs at this point. It's not nobody's taking no oaths to protect and serve and just do their job and go home. You got people who bring in their grudges, their racism, their degenerate behavior to work with them. And these people should not be police officers at all. They should be locked up in jail. But in a righteous world, you know. So I said a lot of these guys, a lot of these racists are closeted homosexuals. A lot of these racists who sit in the seats of power, you know, so-called power, and got this setup, and they use that hatred, that effeminate, weak beta male hatred against black men who they perceive to be too masculine. Thus the term toxic masculinity, which came from them. It didn't come from women. It came from them. When you see all these terms against masculinity coming out on men, it's not women that's doing that. That's a lot of men. A lot of them are homosexual men doing that. Toxic masculinity and all this other nonsense. Because women never said nothing like that before. What make them say that now? Hell, it seems like the more toxic you are toward women, it seems like they like that more. You know, well, you got the nice guy who respectful, what the women walk all over that guy. The guy who's a little, what you would call toxic, which I don't even call toxic, just being a man, being manly, not acting like some female or some woman is the damn light of his world, and that he ready to get on the ground and worship her and kiss her like a beta male simp. You see, if you ain't doing that, a lot of these females think you're toxic. You know, you're toxic if you're not getting on your knees to kiss the ground, a woman or a female walk on. Nah, man. Nah. No way. You see that? Nah. Okay. All right. I asked this question: are so-called people of color racist against black people? Yeah, they are. I told you all before, we ain't got no friends, man. All that people of color nonsense, we ain't got no friends, man. As American Indians, as the real American Indians, now, especially since we stepping up as the American indigenous people, because, listen, man, the same way hip-hop is being vultured away from us, culture vultured away from us, that's the same way they culture vultured away our American indigenous heritage, man. That's why right now, look all the people who call themselves American Indian. A lot of Latinos, a lot of Mongoloids, a lot of these people who came over and took our American Indian heritage. And they don't care about the fact that we can prove that these people are lying about us being African. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about the truth. We can prove that we're not African. We can prove that we go back to Mesoamerica. I can prove that. We can prove we don't have no descendancy in Africa. Hell, a white man never proved that we did have descendancy in Africa. All it took was his word, and everybody was willing to accept his word. Now, when we can prove when the white man came out originally and said, we are the American Indians. Oh, where y'all getting this from? The same place y'all got it from who told y'all we was African and lied about it. And now all of a sudden that ain't good. It ain't the truth. You know why it is? Because these people got comfortable taking our culture. These people got comfortable in our culture, in our American Indian culture. They done got comfortable. They done came and put their feet up. They done took over the house and everything else. They done took it all over. So now they ain't trying to get that back. They ain't trying to get back our American Indian heritage. It's the same things happening with hip hop. They done come in the house. The Caucasian, the white Eminem, all of them done come in the hip hop house. The white boys, the Latinos, everybody done come in the house of hip hop. They done start rapping. They done put their feet up. Now it's their house now. Now you got the indigenous people who built the house, who owned the house, now letting other people say, oh, they built the house too, and have a goddamn thing to do with it. Same thing with our American Indian heritage, because there's no way we should look at this as being strange and foreign to our people. It is no way that we should be looking at the fact that we saying we American Indians and can prove it and back it up. There's no way people should be sitting up here saying, oh, that ain't true. You didn't say it about the African thing. You didn't say, well, where's the white man with this proof that we come from Africa off a slave ship? Now you got people like Dane Calloway out there, shout out to him, and Karemio and all them debunking that. And other people out here debunking the whole African slave trade thing, that nobody's stepping up to them. Why ain't you so-called Native Americans debunking Dane Calloway and Karemio? Why y'all ain't debunking them? All the people that's doing all these documentaries and putting out these casts on YouTube, all this stuff coming out. Nobody's saying nothing about that. All you're doing is, oh, y'all African, you African. No, you got to back it up. Because, see, they don't want to see this culture come back to where it belongs. Rightfully to where it belongs. They don't want to see American Indian culture or the American Indians stand up and take their true identity as Americans. Because we are Americans by nationality, the only real Americans. Because we could just go with American. That'd be cool, too. And which we are going to do that as well. We American by nationality. American indigenous or Indian. All right, so yeah, the people of color, because at one point in time, they was calling us colored people. Then they forced us into being black people. Then they let all these other people be people of color or colored people. You see how these Caucasians here in this country just started everything that we once were, they just start taking it all away and giving it to other people and just calling us something else. Man. Is Pan-Africanism and pro-black a hustle? Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. It's always been a hustle. Pan-Africanism and pro-blackness has always been a hustle. That's why there's a conscious community. That's why there's people that's willing to buy dashikis and buy kente cloth and buy mud cloth and go to Africa and spend this money and buy beads. Because that's an industry, man. That's an industry. The people, and it's really African Americans, so-called African Americans that support that industry. Most of that mud cloth and that kente cloth and stuff, you know that's made in Holland, right? A lot of that stuff is made in Holland. It's not even made in Africa. You see, a lot of that stuff is made in different countries, and it's other European countries that's actually making money off of the whole Pan-African and African thing. The material, the cloth, that comes from there. Which they probably get it from the Africans and take it and give them next to nothing for it, and then repackage and then sell it to the world. Next thing you know, you're talking some kente cloth and some mud cloth, and you thinking it's coming from some African damn village somewhere, and they'll come from some damn factory in Holland somewhere. You see, the Dutch, they manufacture a lot of that. So yeah, and just like you got these professors out here, these so-called black professors out here teaching us African-American studies, man, it's a hustle for them. They know that whole African-American studies thing, that's just something for these guys to get a degree in, to go out here and teach their people this lie that we not American Indians, that we African. That's the only reason why they get that. And they also to implant that in the heads of Caucasian students. Because why is it that they even have an African-American studies class at Harvard? In there, African-American, one of these, Princeton or Harvard, was that guy, Skip Gates, and one of them guys, or one of them guys who was a professor over there, and it was that other guy with the afro, with the gap in his teeth. What's that guy's name? I forget his name. The guy with the afro. Yeah, the one talking about he running for president. The guy Cornel West. Yeah. These guys ain't these guys like African American professors or some shit, some nonsense, right? They teaching some African American BS history. Why is there no European history? Why is there no white history class? Why is it just American history class and it has to do with just white people coming into America? Why is that American history? Why is not what happened to American history prior to white people coming into America? Why don't talk about that? America has a long past before white people came here. But the way they make you think that America, there was nothing going on in America till white people showed up. To Europeans showed up, they make you think that. And that's a damn lie. Big lie. But again, when you're telling the truth, you got a lot of people who are not built to accept or hear the truth or hold the truth. So I put out this video for the people who are built to hold and hear the truth, who want to be a part of that. Again, we're going to be doing an American Indigenous Indian class October 22nd. Again, if you want to, we're going to open up the doors for free. We're going to let people come in for free. We're going to have security there. We ain't going to have no BS there. We don't want no clowns showing up and so acting like, what's this what you guys calling yourself? Because you ain't the idiots that come in there with that. You will be met at the door, and you will be met at the door with something letting you know. That's something for your ass if you're coming in with that shit. Just say it. All right. If you're interested, please give my assistant, Mr. Menjaz, a call at 718-510-3769. Again, Mr. Menjaz, 718-510-3769. Again, I'm going to say it one more time. Mr. Menjaz, 718-510-3769. Give him a call if you want to attend. You have to give your name to this gentleman if you're wanting to attend our American Indigenous Indian class, where we're going to go into depth about what we should be doing as a community going forward, opening up memberships to the Republic of America, because we need to be a community. We need to, we just trying to do better for ourselves. It ain't even about, we have to know who we are in order to do better for ourselves. We have to know who we are as a people, man. Again, we can't make a difference in our life as a community if we don't know the truth about who we are. If we don't know the truth about who we are by nationality, who we are by culture, who we are, historically, then we can't really make a connection to nothing in the future, because what they say, if you don't know your past, you don't know your future, man. A lot of you so-called Pan-African, you old Sambos who teaching that Pan-African shit, you professors and all you so-called master teachers, y'all quick to say that. You quick to tell us, oh, well, if you don't know your past, you ain't good. How you going to know the future? Well, then you ain't teaching us about the past, because if you ain't telling us we the American indigenous people of America, then you lying to us about our past. So you damn right. Of course, you're going to have black people that ain't going to know the damn future because you lying about the past. Y'all trying to get a check, man. A lot of these guys get paid to lie to us, man, whether y'all know it or not. A lot of these pro-black people out here, they plants, man. They boule plants, man. They out here to lie to our people, man. All right? So let me make sure I got everything. I'm about to close up in a second. I just had to get this off. Hold on. And again, shout out to Mr. Tariq Nasheed. Giving him a shout out. I definitely am going to support your Microphone Check. That's the name of his documentary, Microphone Check. The Hidden History of Hip Hop. I like that. Microphone Check. The Hidden History of Hip Hop, because you got a lot of these people who was trying to get at Tariq Nasheed for bringing out the fact that American indigenous people, who he calls foundational black Americans. I mean, that's his terminology. I don't agree with it, but you know what he going with. I mean, you get it. But they was going and, off about him saying that, hip hop, because, hip hop is a worldwide phenomenon now. Hip hop is a worldwide, like all the music we create. So that's not nothing new. Us creating music or some form of popular culture and whatnot around the world, it goes off all around the world. That's not nothing new. We was doing that going back to where with the blues, to R&B, to jazz, to soul music, you name it, rock music, which really came from us through the guitar playings of Jimi Hendrix, the real father, the godfather of rock music. I call Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix is the godfather of rock music, okay? Just like James Brown is the godfather of soul music, right? Same way Ray Charles is really the godfather of R&B, rhythm and blues. He really is. You see, George Clinton is the father of psychedelic funk. You might well call it P-funk, right? And Prince his music was more like funk rock. I call his stuff funk rock. And Rick James was the father of punk funk. So you guys got we all got a little genre of music we made, and it's always reached out around the world and, and attracted you. Michael Jackson, the king of popular music, right? So it's always been the thing. Well, people, my daughter on the side, my baby girl. What you want, mama? Want to come on the camera with daddy? No. Yeah, she got a little pamp on, my baby. My baby girl. My 1 year old. Hey, Ray. All right. Make sure. I'm almost done. We got any questions? Let me ask this. Because again, now that we're finding out about who we are as the American indigenous people, and a lot of people are not liking that, because I always knew we wasn't African. But I never pushed the whole American indigenous thing. My thing was always MENTELLECT, and that's fine. MENTELLECT, again, that's always still by the mind. We're still leading by that. But by nationality, we got to be who we really are, man. We can't take nobody else's culture on. So calling ourselves African, calling ourselves black, calling ourselves Muslim, calling ourselves Moors, calling ourselves whatever. You know, y'all calling yourself, man, come on, man. That don't mean anything. That's not real to us. Black, African American, Negro, Moorish, Muslim, Christian, West Panamanian, whatever y'all calling yourself, man. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't connect with us because that's not who we really are. We are American, man. The only real American indigenous people. That's who we are. That has to, and that's going to burn a lot of people. So my mind says, what should we do? A lot of you Pan-Africans get mad when we coming out about who we are as the American indigenous people, and y'all starting to find out y'all ain't really got a leg to stand on with this belief of this African nonsense. Y'all ain't got no leg to stand on, not no real credible leg, because when you start going, fact for fact, y'all losing, man. So my thing is this: should we ignore our American indigenous heritage because it's pissing a few people off that we standing up and telling the truth? Should we ignore that? Should we sit down and be quiet because a whole bunch of people sitting up here wanting to declare themselves Native Americans and vulture our culture and don't even want to have the conversation, even though we ain't got to talk to you about shit? This is our thing. This is our thing. This is our thing. But let's just say we had the conversation, which we don't have to. And I don't want to. But my thing is that if we did, we already know who's going to win the conversation. Y'all don't want to have that conversation. So y'all would rather us shut up and just be African and whatnot, and just shut up and be African and, and misclassify so that y'all could be us, and just be quiet about that and just let y'all be happy while we got to live a lie so y'all can be happy. Hell no. No. We're not going to live a lie. We're not going to live a lie just so y'all can feel good about yourselves. We ain't going to shut up and be Africans and Negroes and black people, whatever the hell that is, so y'all can feel comfortable about yourself, taking our culture, calling yourself Native American, doing these weird dances and whatnot, where y'all look like y'all bugged out of y'all mind doing these rhythmless dances. You the fake Native Americans doing these rhythmless dances looking stupid. I looked at them, man. It was a damn comedy show. Looking at them, calling them with the shit they doing, calling that cultural, man. I'm almost done. And I asked this question. I said, we are African Americans, then why don't we get U.S. aid? Because they say all the U.S. aid is supposed to go to the immigrants, right? Shouldn't we get U.S. aid? Why don't the so-called African Americans, because you keep trying to make us immigrants when we're clearly not immigrants, because you claim you brought us here, that y'all call that forced immigration, so then you're calling us immigrants, even though that's a lie? You claim you brought us here into America from Africa, so then why don't we get the benefits of being immigrants? Why don't we get government aid? Like you gave white people when they came from Europe, you gave them all the land, you gave money, you gave them all kind of help, handouts, hand-ups, and everything else. You did that because they were immigrants. You gave Europeans money, you gave them land that you took from our indigenous people, you gave them money, you gave them land, you gave them all kinds of ways to survive here, and a lot of them still couldn't survive here. You gave them all kinds of government stipends and handouts and money for houses, GI bills, and all this other stuff. But you had black men fighting in World War II and war, and you didn't give them a damn thing. The very people who you were calling niggas and letting them get hung out of trees in the South, who you made go fight in wars for you, and then when it come time for them to get money for how, they can't get no money for the GI Bill. You give it to white people. You give it to white soldiers. But you're going to force the black ones to fight in the military and get nothing. Really. You see, they want us to sit on our hands and not be who we are to make other people feel. We got to be discomfort. We got to be uncomfortable and in a state of discomfort in order for them to feel happy. We got to be black people, because by this time, if y'all ain't uncomfortable and it don't feel funky to still be calling yourself black people, that's when you start hearing about Italian people, French people, German people, Irish people, whatever, Tanzanian, whatever you call yourself. Then you get around to our people. We black people, really? Black people, my skin not black. Black people, nah, man. We American by nationality. We American by nationality. We American indigenous by nationality, man. That's the only thing we should be answering to as intelligent people. Let all the ignorant people call themselves black, man. Let whoever want to be hostile, don't like us telling the truth, man, the hell with it, man. The hell with people not liking us telling the truth. We ain't sit up here living no lie for nobody. We ain't let nobody punk us out of our American indigenous heritage, man. I don't give a shit how many of these people get mad, don't like us telling the truth. I can see you getting mad if we was lying, because I'm like this, man. If we was really African, I'd be like, yo, we African, man. If we was really African, I'm saying what I'm saying for truth's sake. I'm not saying what I'm saying to stir up no controversy. I'm saying what I'm saying for truth's sake, for the sake of telling the truth, man. I'm not saying it to stir up nothing or go back and forth with the Native Americans, the so-called Mongoloid Indians. I'm not saying that because y'all need to tell y'all history. Y'all don't talk about how y'all came from Mongolia, how you crossed the Bering Straits and came into America. Why y'all never talk about that? And please, why don't you show where y'all had the feathered head crowns and all that stuff, since you say this is your culture. So then that means you brought your culture over from Mongolia. You brought your culture over from across the Bering Straits over into America. So we should be able to look back at your culture back then before you came over here. We should be able to see these feathered head crowns. We should be able to see some kind of teepees, which is nothing but a bust down image. The teepee is nothing but a bust down of our homes, of the pyramids and things. That was nothing but some makeshift bust down of them trying to copy us and all the pyramids and the places we built. So my thing is, y'all should be able to show and prove that you had all this set up in Mongolia before you came here, that you brought your culture with you. Because if you didn't bring this culture with you, that means you picked up somebody else's culture. You picked this up from somebody. You picked up all the so-called indigenous American rich customs and things from somebody, which was us. Same way, like I said again, how a lot of Latinos start copying us, start trying to be all B-boys and hip-hop and all that. That's copying from us. We the original B-boys, the original graffiti writers, the original rappers, the original break dancers, all that come from us. And again, shout out again to Tariq Nashawn. I'm giving a shout out to his film. I'm gonna support that. I'm gonna watch his film. You know, for nothing, I like the truth, man. I don't like bullshit, man. I don't care. And again, I'm saying it for truth's sake, not for anything other than the truth. If we came, if Latinos really did come up with 50-50 hip hop, I would say it. Because it's the truth, not because I'm not like a lot of these. I'm not like these racists out here who want to be right for the sake of being right, because they trying to get a one up or they want to win. I'm not trying to win anything. Everything I do, I say it because it's the truth. I'm a man of truth. That's it. I love and embrace the truth as it is. It is what it is, man. A lot of people got a problem with that, and that's when you start getting into the gray area. People don't want you telling the truth. People want to keep pushing lies to you, especially people in this society, man. You know what I'm saying? So. Okay, so I think I touched on everything. Let me make sure before I close out. We got any questions? Questions? All right, my lovely wife. One of my lovely wives is checking to see if we got any questions before we close out. How are Nigerians? How are Nigerians and Ethiopians different from regular Africans? Well, a lot of the people who call themselves those named Nigerian, Ethiopian, like first, a lot of the people in Africa are really not African. I told you a lot of people who are in Africa, a lot of those people are American, The Ethiopians of today, they are a mixture of African. A lot of them got that Arab and East Indian in them. So a lot of the Ethiopians are mixed race. A lot of them they got to look like coolies, like East Indians and black mixed. A lot of them got the straight hair and whatnot. They don't have the woolly, and they have that look of the East Indian and black mix. So there's a lot of mixed race, so-called Africans, and and different tribal people, different areas. So that's the difference right there within itself. It's a cultural thing with them people, Anything else? All right. If there's nothing else, subscribe to my High and Mighty Talk. Share this with everybody. Real talk. Baby Ray. My daughter, please don't mess with the camera. Hey, Baby Ray. Okay. Thank you. So, subscribe to High and Mighty Talks. All right. Subscribe to the Ethnic American channel with Sister Enron Vanzetta. She does a lot of good work on American indigenous heritage. Subscribe to that. Also, check out my American Intelligence radio broadcast tonight on Blog Talk Radio, American Intelligence tonight at 10:30. I'm going to be doing a cast tonight at 10:30. And also, I got a channel coming on Patreon. And support my Mentellect Patreon channel. Mentellect, MENTELLECT. MENTELLECT, Mentellect Patreon. Also, I think we have it if you want to become a member of the Republic of America, the first American indigenous Indian community that we've set up here. The first one, we got people all over the world, man, in little pockets and things like this. So we're growing our community because we need to be an American indigenous community, not no black community, not no African American, a real American indigenous community, American Indian community. So this is where it starts here in the Republic of America, the first American indigenous community for the American indigenous people here in America, for our people, for the copper-colored races here in America. So hopefully my link is down there at the end of this video. America, Republic of America Worldwide. Join, become a member. We need to be a community. So check us out. And that's it. Also check out UnlimitedEpics.com. Unlimited Epics. That's a comic book company. Check out Unlimited Epics. All my links are down there. Check out all the links. All our links are down there. Hit us up. I don't ask for no money for doing this, like I said, but if you want to go hit the Cash App, that's cool. I don't do this for money. I got other ways to make money. I don't have to do this for money. I'm not out here to monetize. I'm not against monetization, but I don't do this for money. I do this for truth's sake. So come on out. Again, I'm going to say it one time, if you want to come to our American Indigenous Indian class, it's open for free. We put the money out of our pocket. My daughter playing a little piano. We put the money out of our pocket to rent our space and have the American Indigenous Indian class. I'll be there speaking and whatnot from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're going to be having nice security there. So don't come in there acting like no knucklehead, because we will hurt you. But we will hurt you if you come in there acting stupid. You will get hurt. That's it. We're going to close out in the name of Amen, by the power of Amen. In Amen we trust, in Amen we think, and in Amen we continue forward forever. See you next time. Don't take no wooden nickels.